Moving on now. In our next story, the Lagos State Governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, has announced the end of the work-from-home policy for state government employees, effective from the 31st of March. Now, the remote work initiative was initially introduced to ease the economic burden following the removal of the petrol subsidy. However, the governor's decision aligns with the implementation of a new minimum wage in the public sector. It's a sad day for people who have been enjoying at home. Ike Pentecost tweeted, "Better. You can imagine that someone will stay in their compound and be pressing phone and computer from morning till night, also bringing in different ladies and be claiming work from home." My question is the work getting done? Olamide tweeted my namesake. She says, "People who travel abroad and are still collecting salaries will not be happy with this. It's a very good move by the governor." And finally, Zoe Adeola says, "Without any palliative in place and with the deceitful minimum wage they claim to pay, I do have to say that even with the implementation of the new minimum wage, is this enough to alleviate the commuting costs of people within Lagos, so much so that he's scrapping remote work? Is that minimum wage going to handle their transport and handle all the constraints of commuting within Lagos?" This is the question that we have to ask, but hopefully he has a solution for that. In international news, Pope Francis is trending for a letter he wrote to American bishops strongly criticizing the Trump administration's aggressive deportation policies. In the letter, the Pope is warning that expelling migrants solely for being undocumented strips them of their dignity, and he says it will end badly. Now, the Pope has always championed the rights of migrants, urging nations to welcome, protect, and integrate those who are fleeing violence, poverty, and environmental disasters. A very compassionate Pope. I'd love to take some social commentary on this. Pope Francis himself, His Holiness, tweeted, "I ask you to be vigilant against the temptation to cultivate a warlike spirit. Be vigilant lest you be poisoned by propaganda that instills hatred, divides the world into friends to be defended and foes to be fought." Some of the best leaders are extremely empathetic. Cernovic tweeted, "Did you open the gates of the Vatican to all refugees yet?" Evan Kilgore says, "Donald Trump should send the millions of illegal aliens flooding the United States to the Vatican in response to Pope Francis's letter condemning mass deportations." Now, there has been a lot of criticism. And finally, Ubermensch says, "The Good Samaritan didn't give away someone else's job, tax dollars, neighborhood, or safety. He paid for everything himself out of his own funds." Maybe the Pope should meditate on the parable for a little bit longer. For you to come against the Pope in these kind of tweets, you have mind. But I will say the Pope has been facing a lot of criticism because the Vatican walls, which were instilled in the 19th century, are extremely, extremely high. There's a lot of areas that are secluded, and a lot of areas in the Vatican are secluded and not allowed. The public is not allowed to go in there. They're very known for being private. And people are saying, you want to protect the Vatican's assets and the Vatican City. Why can't America do the same? Ms. Veronica and Ibrahim, I'm curious to hear what you have to say about these stories. And I really would like us to hone in on these remote work policies because I know I love a day off.
We all do love a day off, but if the state government has said, come back to work because we have put every measure in place for you to return to work, then I think there's nothing wrong with it. They've enjoyed it for so long. I think it started in 2020 during the COVID or something, and they have said that they should have enjoyed it for a good time. The government has said, we have given you the minimum wage, we have given you every sort of palliative that you need. Perhaps measuring performance have become a challenge, and so they're asking, you know what, come to work, let's see you, let's
but
measure you. But
presence doesn't automatically mean productivity, would you agree?
It may not translate to productivity, but then we need to measure your output.
That's right. Well, the thing is, work flexibility and minimum wage increase should not be mutually exclusive, the way I see it. Because if you look at what the world is doing now, they're moving towards hybrid, kind of work environment. People that have been home, working from home, there is this work-life balance they've actually inculcated. So they should check those who are delivering. How are we doing our KPIs? Are they delivering on the obligations, you know, at work? So the fact that they have to come to office, it's not a problem. The fact that they've also increased the wages, has that taken care of so many things? So many things have actually gone up, especially in this Lagos state. So I feel the government of Lagos state should, you know, look further into this. I'm not saying that people should stay back at home, you know, like others are saying, you know, having friends coming to you, sleeping on the bed or whatever, but they should also have redefined their KPIs as to how is it for people
so
that are working from home.
I'm playing devil's advocate here, but do you guys think that the constraints that the average Nigerians face when they're working from home are harder compared to the Western world? I mean, we have light issues here. Lights will go off. You have to charge your phone.
You just said
by
it
the time you.
So it depends on your role. For instance, TVC is also implementing. It's also looking to implement this kind of policy. I think it's even in place one way or the other. But unfortunately for Veronica and I and yourself, I don't think we can work from home.
We can't work from home for now.
Yeah.
In the nearest future,
Right.
we may be able to achieve that because we saw some organizations, media organizations, achieve that during COVID.
Yeah.
So perhaps we can look into that. But ensuring that the KPIs are, the performance is measurable, flexible, are redefined in such a way that even if you work from home, it's measurable and can also achieve productivity is critical.
And I also support PayPal, you know, for his comments, you know, as regards, you know, what Trump is doing. I'm not against Trump, you know, deporting people. I just believe that there are ways of going about this. But you're pushing people out of your country. You're asking other countries to take in Palestinians, you know, Egypt, Jordan, Saudi Arabia, etc., that they should take in all of those, people away from their ancestral homes. You want to take over Gaza, but you don't want people to come into your country. Come on, make it make sense, please.
That's his decision. He's the president of the country and can decide whatever it is he wants to do. So you guys should deal with it.
With the Trumpies.
Anyway, this is how we come to the end of the program for today. Thank you, Olamide, for the stories.